Hello Year 6 and welcome to today's RE lesson. Now, last week we were looking at the Last Supper, so quick summary about the Last Supper. So it was the day before Jesus was arrested and he met with all of his friends, the disciples, to celebrate the Passover. Okay? And as part of the Passover meal there was different things that they would do. We looked at that a couple of weeks ago. And during this, there was a couple of things that Jesus did and we looked at them last week. So he washed the disciples' feet to show that we should serve each other. He also took bread and broke it and said, when you eat this bread, remember my body. And then he took wine and he said, when you drink wine, remember of my blood. So Christians, 2,000 odd years later, still do these things, and they do it as part of a communion service. Okay, so it's called slightly different things for different denominations. That means kind of different groups of Christians. Because ultimately Christians believe that Jesus is the Son of God. However, the way they worship and the way they do things might be slightly different. So, if you went to a Holy Communion church, you would probably call it Mass, where they eat the bread and drink the wine. Other churches might call it the Eucharist. Other churches might call it Holy Communion. For the sake of today's video, I'm mainly going to call it Holy Communion, okay? So your job for today, what we are going to do is we're going to look at two videos, okay, and the links are in the normal places. In the first one, it kind of follows the story of a girl who is getting ready for her first Holy Communion. Now she goes to a Roman Catholic church, okay? So the way that they do Holy Communion, or Mass as they call it, at a Catholic church, will be very different than the way they do it at a Church of England church or an Anglican church, which will be very different than the way they do it at a Pentecostal church or a Methodist church or a Baptist church. Okay, there are loads of different ways of celebrating communion. Ultimately, they've all got bread, they've all got wine, or some churches might not use wine, they might use like some kind of juice, but the kind of ideas are still the same. So you're going to watch these two videos. So the first one is about 3 minutes long. It's a BBT Teach video, and it kind of tells you a little bit about what this what Holy Communion is for this girl and shows a little bit of the service. And then the second video is going to be a church, it's a Church of England church, and it's the full video is a full service. It's like over an hour long. I'm not expecting you to watch the hour, but if you want to, go for it. The bit that I want you to watch is the bit where they celebrate Holy Communion, and it starts at 40 minutes until about 45 minutes, okay? I want you to watch them both, and then your task is I want you to do a little table where you talk about the similarities and the differences between these two churches, okay? I've put a little example in the information page, but I'll kind of put it here. That's just to get you started. Obviously, I want you to try and include some more. So what are the similarities and the differences from the way that these two churches celebrate Holy Communion, okay? Give it a good go. So yeah, you've got this video to watch, which you've pretty much done. Then you've got two videos to watch, and then a little bit of work to do based on it. Okay, Year 6, give it a good go. I look forward to seeing your work. Goodbye.